it's Matt with Olympus Reptiles, here to tell you more about my balls. Because you know me, if I get a chance, I'm going to spend all day just talking about my balls, handling my balls, watching my balls, and playing with my balls. Because my balls are literally one of the most important things in my world. And specifically today we're talking about balls and line breeding. We've been doing a lot of episodes lately that deal with breeding and genetics. We've covered lethal combos. We've covered things that are allelic. So we've covered, the het stuff. We did that live with 50% het, 66% het, etc. And now I want to talk about line breeding. Because line breeding is the piece of the puzzle that I honestly think is the most important. This is the key to making the best combos. This is the key to making the best snakes. This is more important than identifying morphs or anything like that as far as I'm concerned. That is line breeding. What I mean about line breeding is not just keeping it in the family, although you're going to have some relative breeding to do line. You have to bring in new blood and whatnot. But line breeding is the way that you're going to make the very best examples of a morph. And there are so much variance that can happen within a set of animals. I'll give you an example. Both these snakes have recently laid eggs, so don't mind their look. They're a little skinny. I'll bring them to you. Don't worry. They're very hungry. This is a Mojave. Like I say, just laid eggs. And I've got another Mojave. Of course, she's at the very bottom. That also just recently laid eggs. Now, when you look, calm these girls down. I know, sunshine. Look how different they are. Come in here really close to that camera and tight. Look at the color. I'll get some of the same pattern up. You can see a vast difference in the color. It's not because one's in shed. Look at how more of a chocolate this is versus that. Look at how there's more yellow in this versus this is more gray. These are both the same morph. The way you achieve this difference is line breeding. I can make different things with this Mojave than I can with this Mojave. I can tell them apart by just looking. I can tell you that that is Minerva. This is an unnamed one so far. I know without having to worry about getting them confused, because I have to find her tub though. Where did I pull you out of? There you are. Because they look so vastly different. So what that means when it comes to line breeding is she's much calmer. I'll keep her out. If I wanted to work on making something that was very bright with Mojave, I am best suited to breeding this Mojave to it. Let's say I wanted to go with some pastaves or things of that nature. I will put this Mojave and use it for that project because it's going to bring out more color because of the way it's been line bred to be that way. If I wanted to go darker, I would use the other Mojave because it's more gray. So the other one would probably make a better Xanthic Mojave. This will make a better Pastave. Now, I'm going to try to prove that out more to you, but I can't do it right now because the eggs are cooking. Both these snakes were bred to the same male this year, who is a GHI. And I'm going to bet that they make different looking Mojave GHIs. They'll all make Mojave GHIs, but what I expect is the ones from the other female to be darker in general, and the ones from this female, don't worry about that, we just knocked the hook off the wall. The ones from this female to have a brighter dorsal stripe. So I really think that line breeding and choosing your females for your projects based on how they look as that morph, as an example, is so very important. And yet I think it gets lost. I think what we tend to do as hobbyists a lot of times, and I've been guilty of it before myself, we all have, we go to a show and we're like, man, I really want to find me a orange dream. I got to have an orange dream. It's just, I'm looking for an orange dream. We go all around that show and we find an orange dream, we buy an orange dream. What we have to do as hobbyists to make the best snakes we can is go to that show and go, okay, I want an orange dream. If I want an orange dream that's on the brighter scale, no, I don't want one that's a dark. What kind of orange dream you want? Maybe you want an orange dream that's got a little more yellow in it. Maybe you want one that's more of a true orange. And you know what you want, you go look for what you want. And if you find a snake that's the morph, but not an exact example of the morph that you want, you have to be willing to walk away from it. You have to be willing to say, nope, that's not for me. On the flip side of that coin, when you find one that is for you, and it's going to happen. I just talked to a guy the other day who hit me up, and he was a little worried that he may have gotten kind of taken to the cleaners on a snake. And then he sent me some pictures to it. I'm like, nah, dude, you did just fine. And the reason he did just fine was he paid more for an animal, okay, than what he could have bought that more for at another time or elsewhere. He paid a higher price, but he got a stellar example. So when he puts that into his projects, it's going to do better. He's going to make a higher quality. And you're much better off paying for that stellar example now for what you want, as opposed to saving 20 bucks and getting something that's not quite what you want, or even 50 bucks, or even 100 bucks. You're better getting the animal you want and that you desire for your projects. That's the best thing for being a breeder. Is, when we breed animals, I can select bumblebees that hold their color. I can select bees that I think will be pretty as adults, that won't get as brown. Oh, come on, girlie. She don't want to come out. There you go. Ugh. And you can see how nice her gold is down through her belly and everywhere, and even the dorsal stripe is light. That was hand-picked. Also, you noticed there's no dots in her spider pattern. Very little noise. Hand-picked. Hand-picked for what I want. Not just because she's a bumblebee, because she's the bumblebee that has the style of spider and the style of pastel that I want to pass on. Same thing applies when you deal with other animals, like my Blitz female. I kept this one for a specific reason. Believe it or not, this steak is in shed, I do think. I don't think it's shed yet. It's almost ready to. But I wanted one with a lot of pattern noise, and you can look at her pattern and how noisy it is through there and how wonky it is. Not all Blitz is created equal, but you can see I got to pick the best example I wanted. That mark right there was what pushed her over the top. Exactly what I'm looking for, exactly what I want to pass on. I want to bring out more and more of those. So I hand-picked her when I did my breeding. Not just because she's a Blitz, because she's the Blitz. Does that make sense? The Blitz that I was after. I could have chose from about 3 or 4 of these. I chose this one. Didn't pick the best eater, but certainly picked the best color. And that is what it's all about. This is just a little super pastel lesser who I have plans for. But it's about picking the example that fits your projects. And what fits your projects may be different than what fits my projects. So it completely depends on what you're looking for, okay? So here's okay, guys. I'll be honest. I got to tell you why I'm laughing here. You probably watched our news video. Well, I can't help because I'm smiling, and you're probably wondering what the hell's going on. So I'm just going to share it. Kurt's getting prepared for another video. So right now, running the camera is Player X, which is the guy you see in the background of all our news videos who won't show his face. And Player X's dress that's not really made for him. I don't know where he found it. Literally just fell off in the middle of filming. So now I'm looking at this thing in a white morph suit whose dress is at its ankles, and this is like a bad scene from a bad hotel in Thailand where you only spent 10 bucks, but you just got ripped off anyway. That's what just happened to me. So I hope you guys are enjoying that as much as I am. Oh God, actually I hope you're not, because it's not an enjoyable sight at all. But back to the topic at hand. This is what line breeding gets you. So then you can go on and create the best examples of certain combinations. This is another one. A simple lesser pastel. And you can see how good her color is. You can also see the difference where that's more of that bruised color from that. But this isn't ready, almost ready to breed lesser pastel. And look how great her colors are. Again, it's because I got to choose my keepers. And I get to keep the best. And when you line breed, or when you're purchasing, you got to purchase with that eye. Not just buy the morph. You can't think any lesser will do, or any super pastel lesser will do, or any bumblebee will do. I want you to have an eye for the right one to fit what you want. And if you do that, I think you're going to be successful. You'll make snakes that are the exact, or as close to the exact thing you can see in your head. And when you start putting the genes together, you'll get the right outcome. So that's all I have today. And as long as you kind of follow that, I think you're going to be okay. And if you have other breeding questions, please, please, please put them in the comments. I really like doing videos that bring breeding information out. So it's something that you want to know about breeding ball pythons, please ask. That's what we're here for. We're here to share all of that, where other people want to keep those secrets hidden. We want to bring them to the forefront and let you in on them. I think it's better for the hobby that way, and better for everyone to share that information. So we'll always do that if we can. Doesn't mean we know everything. We certainly don't. But if you have questions, please ask. If you look back, we've now covered the hets, we've covered homozygous and heterozygous, we've covered allelic genes, and now we're kind of covering line breeding and making the best. And there, she's gonna poke her head out. You can't tell me that just isn't gorgeous. All right, guys, I think that's all we got. And I would say, do we have any questions? But Player X can't talk either. He won't talk. He's like this weird enigma. He won't talk. He won't keep his dress up. And I have to deal with him. So, yeah, I'm going to take him out back and beat him now. So I have to end this video. Just kidding. We really don't do that. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.